You are watching Book Scholar's Summary, Tuesdays with Morrie, the ultimate summary. Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are diving into a book that answers one of life's most profound and difficult questions. Let me set the scene with a story from the Mahabharata. Yudhishthir is asked, "What is the greatest wonder in the world?" He replies, "One after another, people are falling into the mouth of death, yet those who are alive think that they will never die. What could be a greater wonder than this? We all know that one day we have to leave this world, but we choose to see that truth and yet not see it. So, what happens inside a person when they know their final date?" This book handles this incredibly difficult topic with absolute positivity. And here's the kicker, this book isn't about death, it's about life. It's about living your life to the fullest. The book is Tuesdays with Morrie, an old man, a young man, and life's greatest lesson. Meet the author and the inspiration. This incredible memoir was written by Mitch Albom in 1997. Mitch was a famous American sports journalist who later turned to writing. He penned many books focusing on life, spirituality, family, and society, but Tuesdays with Morrie is his most famous. Morrie Schwartz is the inspiration for this book. He was Mitch's professor in college, guiding him in student life and later on the path of life philosophy. Morrie taught social psychology and mental health in the US. Mitch and Morrie used to spend their Tuesdays together for years during Mitch's university days. Then, after a long gap, fate brought the old teacher and student back together when Morrie was battling the terminal illness ALS, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, and nearing his final days. This sparked a series of weekly meetings that Mitch documented, giving the book its title, Tuesdays with Morrie. The 14 final classes. Morrie's final 14 Tuesdays completely transformed Mitch's perspective and understanding of life. Mitch shares these changed insights with us through this book. The first Tuesday, World. Mitch hadn't seen Morrie in 16 years. When he finally showed up, Morrie welcomed him, "My old friend. You finally came back inside." They talked for 2 hours. As Mitch was leaving, he quietly called him, "Coach." Morrie replied, "Yes, and I'm still your coach." Mitch promised to return. Soon after, a union strike at Mitch's newspaper left him without a job or salary for the first time in his life. Confused and depressed, he called Morrie. Morrie joyfully said, "You are coming to see me?" Mitch asked, "Can I?" Morrie replied, "How about Tuesday?" The second Tuesday, Pity. Mitch brought a bag of food, which Morrie couldn't eat much of. They sat at the kitchen table. Morrie, whose disease was progressing, had to be helped to the bathroom. He confided in Mitch, "You know, I told you I dread the day someone has to wipe my behind. I think that day is coming." Mitch asked why he dreaded it. Morrie said it's the ultimate sign of dependency. But then he smiled and said, "But I'm also working on it. I'm trying to enjoy the process, because I get a chance to be a baby again." Mitch realized this was an entirely new way to look at life. Morrie was also reading the news and crying over the suffering of people he didn't even know. Mitch, a journalist who had covered death many times, had never cried. He realized that death makes everything equal. Morrie asked Mitch if he ever felt sorry for himself. Morrie said he does, sometimes in the mornings. He cries, focuses on what he's lost, but then stops. "I let myself mourn when I need to, but then I focus on all the good things in my life." He doesn't allow himself to wallow in self-pity for too long, just a little bit each morning. If Morrie, facing a terrifying disease, could limit his self-pity, why can't we? Morrie believed things are only horrible if we choose to see them that way. He saw a positive side. I get a chance to say goodbye. Not everyone is so lucky. The third Tuesday, regrets. Mitch brought food again, along with a tape recorder to preserve their conversations. Morrie was asked about his regrets. He shook his head and said, "Everyone worries about this." He explained that we get so caught up in things that satisfy our ego, career, a new car, more money, that we are constantly running forward and never look back to ask, is this what I truly want? Is something missing? Morrie said, it won't just happen on its own. You need to have someone push you toward the spiritual and philosophical side of life. Mitch realized that we all need a teacher in our lives. The fourth Tuesday, death. Morrie said, let's start with the big one. Everyone knows they're going to die, but no one believes it. If we did, we'd do things differently. Mitch asked how one prepares for death. Morrie suggested a good way is to carry a little bird on your shoulder that asks, am I ready? Am I doing what I should be? Am I being the person I want to be? Morrie pointed out that we walk around like we are in a trance, not fully experiencing the world because we are half asleep and doing things automatically. Facing death changes everything. You stop being distracted by the material things and focus on the basic ones. Morrie promised, when you learn how to die, you learn how to live. The fifth Tuesday, family. Morrie looked at the photos on his mantelpiece. He said, this is the time we are talking about when family becomes even more crucial. There is no foundation, no secure ground to stand upon, without your family. Love is paramount. Without love, we are birds with broken wings. He said if he were alone, without his wife and children, his illness would be unbearable. Nothing, not money, not fame, will give you the security of a loving family who will never leave you. The sixth Tuesday, emotions. Morrie's condition was getting worse. When Mitch arrived, Morrie was visibly thinner. Morrie asked if the tape recorder was on. He said, I'm going to own my experience. Detach yourself, not just for people like me, but for everyone. He explained the Buddhist concept of detachment. It doesn't mean you don't care. It means you immerse yourself fully into the difficult experience. If you hold on to your emotions, you can never detach. But when you experience the emotion fully, grief, pain, love, you can then step back and say, I know what that feels like. I recognize that emotion. Now, I will be detached from it for a time. The seventh Tuesday, fear of aging. Mitch asked if Morrie ever feared getting old. Morrie said, I embrace aging. Embrace it. He explained that aging is more than just a body breaking down. As you grow, you learn new things. The positive side of dying is that you understand you are, in fact, dying, and that makes you live a better life. Why do people constantly wish they were young again? Morrie laughed and said, because they are living unsatisfied, unfulfilled lives. If you find meaning in life, you never want to go back. You always want to go forward. The eighth Tuesday, money and giving. Morrie argued that we are brainwashed by our culture to believe that owning things is good, more money is good. He noticed that people who are hungry for love often accept material things in its place. You cannot substitute material things for love. What gives people satisfaction? Giving what you have to give. I don't mean money, Mitch. I mean your time, your kindness, your storytelling. Morrie said true satisfaction comes from devoting yourself to something that gives you purpose and meaning. Devote yourself to loving others. Devote yourself to your community. The ninth Tuesday, how love goes on. Morrie was starting to sink into his chair. He was frail, but still sharp. He said, Someone asked me a very interesting question yesterday. Am I afraid that I will be forgotten after I die? Mitch said, I don't think so. Morrie replied, love is how you stay alive after you are gone. He told Mitch, think of my voice, and I will be there. The 10th Tuesday, marriage. Mitch brought a new visitor, and they talked about marriage. Morrie said that a good, lasting marriage has a few critical rules. Respect your partner. Know how to compromise. Have a common set of values. The 11th Tuesday, culture. Morrie said people only work when they're scared, and that's what our culture does. It makes people fear losing their job, so they worship money. This is part of our culture. You have to create your own subculture. He said a subculture means disagreeing with the social norms, choosing what you value, and how you think. We don't believe we are all the same, black and white, men and women. If we saw each other as equal, we would want to join a big family and share as we do with our own family. We all have the same beginning, birth, and the same end, death. So how can we be so different? The 12th Tuesday, forgiveness. Morrie told a sad story about his friend, Norman, who moved away. After Morrie's wife had a serious operation, Norman never called to check on them. Morrie was hurt and tried to fix the relationship, but Norman didn't accept. Norman later died of cancer. I regret that I was never able to reconcile with him, Morrie said. He realized we must forgive not just others, but ourselves, for the things we didn't do or the things we could have done. Don't wait. The 13th Tuesday, the perfect day. Morrie talked about what his perfect day would look like. It would involve a simple breakfast, talking to his friends, going for a walk, dancing to his old music, and having dinner with loved ones. He said dying is natural. We give it too much significance because we don't think of ourselves as part of nature. Everything that is born must die. As long as we can love each other and remember the feeling of love, we can die without truly going away. The love you created and the memories you made are all still here. Death ends a life, not a relationship. The 14th Tuesday, goodbye. Mitch came on a cold, damp day. He had called earlier and was told Morrie was not doing well. Morrie was in his final hours. My dear friend, Morrie whispered, I'm not doing so well. But I'll be okay. Mitch told him, I know you are not well, so I'll come next Tuesday. Morrie passed away on a Saturday. Mitch looked at the clock and realized, it was finally a Tuesday. So, my friends, I hope this book summary gave you some powerful and important lessons. Now it's time to act on them and make your life more beautiful. Which of Morrie's lessons resonated most with you? Let me know in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel for more such books by Scholar and press the bell icon to never miss the update.